Hello, people, Facebook family. What's up? This is Dr.Nima, Rahmany. I'm here in Seattle, Washington. Got a birthday party for my cousin coming up, so I'm staying at my buddy's place, my buddy Marcelo, and we're talking about triggers. And I wanted to give a moment for you guys to kind of file on, and there's some Q&A that I'd love to do as well. Hey, what's up, Jen? We're talking about emotional triggers and what they reveal about you. And the reason why, hey, Wendy, what's up? Are you still in the hospital? Sending you love, darling. I just had a client call today, and she'd been in my program for a few months. And she started off completely disconnected from her family. So I want you to think, if you have been completely disconnected from your family, who in your family, whether it's your mother or your father, any brothers or sisters, uncles, people that you avoid because you get emotionally triggered. What's up, Jen? Sup, my brother? So think of who you get emotionally triggered by because, and you avoid in your family. And she completely was like, I hope you don't make me go talk to my family. I have no intention of seeing them or talking to them. So she was feeling lonely, feeling isolated, depressed, anxious, and her life was not working for her. And she got a daughter, and her daughter was getting isolated as well. And so she decided to take on the work. And what we taught her basically in the program is that there are 7 primary delusions that you go through, that when you have these delusions, you're going to get emotionally triggered. And your triggers, when you get pissed off, when you become resentful, they actually reveal where you have an inauthentic, unrealistic expectation on yourself or somebody else. And so there are 7 of them that I want to share with you. And if you know somebody, think of your most recent trigger. And here they are. I'm going to share them with you. And I'd love for you to tag somebody or share this video, somebody who's been really stuck and disconnected from certain family members, and they think that they're better getting rid of these toxic people, when in fact they actually are struggling inside if we don't have completion within our relationships. Any broken down relationship is causing an unconscious fucked upness, if that's a real word, in our psyche, in our minds, in our bodies, in our health, and they block our ability to really express ourselves freely with power, and we hide who we are, and it just causes all sorts of shit. So what are these triggers? What are these unrealistic expectations or these delusions? The first one comes with an awareness of our duality. And myself, I have a part of me that is a sweet, kind-hearted, open, loving, altruistic part of myself. That's a big part of me. I also have a part of me that's egotistical, arrogant, narcissistic, and just only wants selfishly for his own gain, insecure. That's my dark side. Okay, I got 2 sides to me. I have a light and a dark. I have a sweetheart side and an absolute asshole side. I know it's hard to believe. I completely understand. It's hard to believe, but I'm telling you it's actually true. So there's a duality to myself, and there's a duality to pretty much everything in the universe. There's a North Pole and a South Pole. There's a hot and a cold. There is positive and negative, and these dualistic foundation in the universe, that's actually a law of the universe, and you can't separate it. It's like cutting a magnet in half. You just can't do it. It's always going to have a positive and a negative. When we expect another person to be the positive without the negative, we are delusional. We are telling a half-truth. And when we expect the other person to always be positive and not negative, always be supportive and not challenging, always be caring and not careless, always be patient and not impatient, when they display their dark side, which we all have, we start getting triggered. And we make it mean that we're not good enough and all that stuff. Delusion number one is they should always be one-sided, positive, happy. Delusion number two is that they should see things my way. That's a fucking delusion. Because they should see things their way. Your mother should see things according to her representation of the universe, according to her experiences on this planet. She should actually see things her way. Your husband, your wife, your mom, your dad, your whoever should see things exactly as they see them, because our voids of whatever we perceive as missing most in our lives is what we value the most and what we seek. And because you've had a different experience than me, you're going to see things completely differently, and you're going to experience things differently because you had different emptinesses and missingnesses. And we're all working unconsciously to fill what we perceive to be most missing. If you do it consciously, life is a lot more fun. Most of us, unfortunately, if you haven't had the right mentorship and you haven't done the right personal development work, most of us are doing it completely unconsciously. So life's not as fun as when you're actually living consciously. You know what your values are and you're living according to those. But you're fucking delusional if you think that others should be seeing things your way. Every single time you're mad at your teenagers, every single time you're mad at your kids, every single time you're mad at your dog, it's because of delusion number two, and you got triggered because of the unrealistic expectation that they should see things and do things my way. Good luck with those first two delusions, because delusion number three is a combination of one and two. That people should be one-sided and everybody should see things my way. And when they don't, and when the world doesn't go based on those rules, we get triggered like a motherfucker. I know I do. Every time that I've ever been triggered, I step back and I go into what I call overview. This is one of the things that I teach the peeps in my students and the people that are my clients is step back and spot the delusion about that other person. They're assholes. Why? Because they cut me off. Okay, so they should be one-sided and careful, never careless, and they should always see things and prioritize my needs. Well, you know, you might be asking, you might be thinking, so I shouldn't have these expectations on other people? Everyone should just do whatever? This is what I always get in my workshops and seminars. By the way, this weekend, make sure you come. Wednesday night, we're doing a public talk. If you're in Vancouver, doing a public talk on transitional anxiety, where I go into these concepts a lot deeper and I have a Q&A. And then the weekend is the Overview Experience workshop in Vancouver. Please send me a private message. You want to go? We got some seats available. And believe me, Jen, you've been there. Let them know it's not something that you want to miss. It's actually pretty fun and crazy and horrible at the same time. It's crazy. It's duality. It's both sides. It's both pleasure and pain. It's pretty amazing. If you have an expectation that others should be one-sided and other people should live according to my values, well, you're going to walk around the world constantly getting triggered, which you can if that's your choice, but your anxiety levels, your heart rate levels, your blood pressure levels, your digestive system, your hormones will all get screwed based on those expectations. It's pretty freaking incredible when you look at it that way, that your health can be impacted based on the perceptions, i.e. the delusions and the expectations. Because when you get triggered, you go through a fight or flight. Fight or flight, oh! Your brain goes into, hypothalamus, pituitary axis, your brainstem fires, your cortisol levels go up, heart rate goes up. See, all these hormones and digestive organs start to change because you got triggered, because you had an unrealistic expectation that other people should live according to your values, not theirs, and they should be one-sided. So the answer is to catch yourself and spot the delusion and ask, is it really true? Should they be doing what they're doing? And that helps to neutralize it. The overview method is a process I've come up with that helps you dig deep and peel back the layers and go even deeper and find out how it served you. Go back to the earlier triggers, because every stress you're going through right now from other people. I just had a session with a client who's basically on the verge of divorce and wanting to know, should I stay or should I go? And we went to a scene where her and her husband are fighting, and they're having that extreme moment of trigger, And basically, she discovered that she had an expectation that he should see things her way. And so it's like a mind-blowing moment, realization that we can let go and give up on those delusions and create harmony and restore our relationships, or we could try to be right, make the other people wrong, which I lived with. I went through a divorce, and that's exactly what I was living with, and create some chaos, create some havoc, health issues, destruction of relationships. Been there, done that. And so I've learned through trial and error and through the study and application of human behavior and getting coaching and getting the right mentorship to look at myself and call myself out on my delusions. And so every client of mine gets to learn how to do that, so that when they come up with triggers and an emotional trigger, they step back and go, which delusion? Okay. And you can actually neutralize it. And one of my clients today, basically, she said she went to her wedding. She went to a wedding, and there was family there, and this is family that she hasn't seen in years. And so through the work that we've been doing, she's been restoring with them. And she said, this was the first time that I spent time with my family, and I didn't leave traumatized. I actually felt incredible. And my daughter, here was the best part, because of the work that I did, my daughter, it was a ripple effect on her, and she was like glowing. And my 15-year-old daughter, was saying, Mom, I'm so proud of you. So that is the amazing impact on you taking on the work. You don't realize how your delusions are actually messing up your kids. And all she did that was different was she became aware of her delusions and went through a few powerful questions, line of inquiry, and affirmations that help her show up at the wedding the greatest version of herself, so that she can actually be the cause of everybody's transformation, not just her own, even her daughter's. It was very inspiring to me to be able to contribute that way. And that's actually what happens when you actually take on the work. Hey, Teresa, what's up? It's been a while. And Karen, hope you're still around. How you doing? So, the unrealistic, they should always be one-sided. They should always do things my way. And number 3 is a combination of number 1 and 2. Delusion number 4 that creates triggers is I should be one-sided. In other words, I'm a two-sided being. I'm just as much of a sweetheart as I am an asshole. I'm just as much of supportive as I am challenging. But I should always be just one-sided and positive. I should always be skinny. I should always be rich. I should always be, all of these one-sidedness. Hey, Karen, I'm going to be in Australia at the end of September. You better be there. Brisbane, got a limited seating. Send me a private message and we'll get you on. You can't miss this, Karen. Can't wait to meet you in person. So I should always be one-sided. The truth is, I'm two-sided. And so when I get triggered, a lot of my clients initially, they're like learning these tools, and then they get triggered and they go, oh, I got triggered. I'm like, yeah, you think you should be one-sided all the time? Open your heart to yourself and realize that you just got triggered, and that's because of your delusion about them. So of course you should get triggered. Of course you should be negative when you're holding on to delusions or expectations that aren't realistic. So that was pretty powerful when you're able to open your heart to yourself and take away that expectation that you're just supposed to be one-sided. Number 5 is I should do things a different way. In other words, I should live outside of my values. Truth is, I live according to my values. And whenever I look at other people and I inject their values onto mine and compare myself to other people, then I get triggered. How many times have you been scrolling through Facebook, seeing somebody's car, their new car, or their awesome car, or their amazing, vacations, and then all of a sudden you get triggered? And that's because of delusion number 5, which is I should be living outside of my values. The truth is, you should be living according to your values. And when you compare yourself to a lifestyle that's not really yours, guilty as charged, Holly, yep, then you're going to get triggered. So your delusion that I should be like them, instead of owning where your power is, owning where your strengths are, owning where others are jealous of you, That's how you dissolve the trigger, is by removing the belief that I should be one-sided or I should be living outside of my values. And number 6 is a combination of 4 and 5, which is I should be one-sided and I should be living outside of my values. And hey, Arlene, what's up, girl? And number 7, the last delusion that causes you to get triggered, is a combination of all of them. The unrealistic expectation of others to be one-sided, the unrealistic expectation of others to live outside of their values, and the unrealistic English is my third language. The unrealistic expectation of yourself to be one-sided, and the unrealistic expectation of yourself to be living outside of your values and doing things a different way than what you're doing it. And so when you have those expectations, then you should get triggered. The good news is you can dissolve it. There's a way of becoming powerfully aligned with your truth, with your highest values, and then calling yourself out on your delusions and lies, and then getting your strength back. Bonnie, darling, you're welcome. Absolutely. I'm grateful that this is helpful to you, because guaranteed every problem that you're going through is because of the triggers. Which reminds me, if your triggers have been causing health problems like anxiety, here are some warning signs that you really need to step up and talk and have a conversation and send me a private message. If your triggers have gone to a point where you're developing anxiety, that you have sleepless nights, that you're not able to speak to other people, that you're not able to be real and be present, that it's now impacting your health, that your digestion is shot, then there is a high likelihood that your triggers have gone into danger zone, and it requires that you get to work on clearing it up. Because if you don't get that right, then you will forever be living hiding from people. You isolate yourself and you stop showing up as the highest version of you because you're afraid of taking off the mask and then getting triggered. So there's a power and a freedom that's available to you on the other side of that work. And for those of you, I have 2 free coaching calls. For those of you who've been noticing from what I just said that these triggers have been impacting your life and you are tired of living with anxiety, and you're tired of feeling stuck in limbo in your relationship, and you're tired of not knowing what the hell you want to do, and you're realizing, this is only for those who are realizing that their lives are short. And what would it be worth to you to be able to actually look at yourself in the mirror and feel proud that you're stepping into a direction that's inspiring to you, that's growing and living into something greater, rather than waiting for some sort of a magical thing, some sort of savior to come help you. You are your own savior. So I'm interested in speaking to 2 people. 2 people this weekend or around. We have cleared my schedule for 2 people who actually are interested in getting to the root cause of it and clearing it. Send me a private message. Please tag somebody and share this with somebody you know who's been struggling with transitional anxiety and doesn't really know which way to go and is feeling stuck. I'd love to meet them, but only if they are ready to give up their victim story. God bless you, and I'll see you at the next perfect time.